In this edition, we have an exclusive interview with Boris Johnson from his hospital bed. Also, for the first time on British television, Nicola Sturgeon's twin sister speaks out about her thoughts on her sister. And to round things off, supermarkets have now had to put social distancing and other measures in place, so we have a special guide on what not to do. And don't forget to subscribe, press the button so you don't miss future episodes. But here's this week's news headlines. Tabloid newspapers beg for sales. Royals get special treatment. Bill Gates' pandemic warning from 5 years ago. And Nicola Sturgeon's twin sister exclusively speaks to us here at Not the Real News. Now, newspapers have been complaining in recent weeks that readers have stopped buying their products. So we go over to media mogul Rupert Murdoch. Hello, Mr. Murdoch. Why should people buy your newspapers?
Yeah, good day. This is Murdoch here, you know, the guy that owns the Sun newspaper. Hello, possums. You know about the British? The British are really stupid. They always bought my papers, no matter what I printed in them. I mean, anyway, enough about that. Yeah, we did. We broke a few laws. We hacked a few phones. Yeah. Well, you have to do what you have to do, don't you? Anyway, important message here is our newspapers. Yes, we hacked some phones. Yes, we undermined people's human rights. Yes. Yes, we hounded royals to death. Oh well, these things sell papers. That's what our job is. Our job is to sell papers, isn't it? It sure is, possums. Anyway, this lovely paper, you see this, the Sun, it is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Yes, it's full of crap. Yes, we make up the bloody headlines. Of course we do. Otherwise, you stupid plebs in Britain wouldn't bloody buy it, would you? You love it. Go on, you love it.
Will you ever be bringing back page 3?
Do we want to bring page 3 back? Oh, God. Well, I'd love to, you know. I mean, let's face it. All this women lib nonsense about getting their tits out and being objectified. We love a bit of tit, don't we? Yeah, we do. Anyway,
And finally, how's the sales doing in Liverpool?
Well, thanks for bringing that up, you bastard.
Now, the coronavirus has made many things unusual, including having the public stand outside their houses clapping for our heroes every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Channel 4 News has come out as with the gold standard of reporting, where the public can believe what Channel 4 is broadcasting and bringing us. Unfortunately, not the same can be true for the BBC, that has repeatedly found itself pretending or covering up for the UK government's inadequacies. But one of the more surprising things, I think you'll agree with me, is some people have stood out. Piers Morgan, for instance. Here's a clip of what he's been saying.
Here's a Daily Mail front page. I don't know why you're laughing. Why are you laughing?
Well, because I can't, you said
I'm telling you what it is. It's actually very serious. It says 4,000 people may have died in care homes in this country. To which my point to you is, why are you only now doing all this testing? Where were these tests a month ago? What has been going on with our government testing?
My reaction just then was because you said you'd show me something, and that I've been asked to set up the camera so that I'm looking into it, so I can't see what you...
Listen, it's fine. I was telling you what the front page said. I mean, is it true that 4,000 people have died in care homes?
So we have been working incredibly hard.
I'm not sorry, Miss Whately. It's not a question about how hard you're working. I assume you're working hard. You're the care minister. It's your job to work hard. Please stop telling us how hard you're working. What I want to know is it true that 4,000 people have died in care homes? Yes or no?
I wasn't actually talking about me personally. I was talking across the whole of health and social care, across local authorities, across care providers and their representatives, working to make sure that we're doing everything we can to protect vulnerable people.
Yeah, well, I assume you're doing all that, but is it true that 4,000 people have died in care homes? Yes or no?
Okay, well, I'm glad you appreciate that we are doing that. I think it's really, really important to take the steps that we
No,
can.
I tell you what's really important is that you just answer straight questions. Is it true that 4,000 people... Why are you laughing?
I'm coming to answer your question, but I'm not...
What do you find funny about this?
I don't think it's funny in the slightest.
Well, why do you keep laughing then?
I'm not laughing at all.
I literally just asked you, is it true that 4,000 elderly people have died in hospital and all you can do is laugh? What's the matter with you?
I'm not laughing. Please don't suggest for a minute that I'm laughing.
We literally just saw you laughing.
Okay.
Now we bring you an exclusive interview with Boris Johnson from his hospital bed.
Well, thank you. Boris here. Yes, I've had to be rushed back home. Not feeling too good, actually, old folks, you know. This little virus, little bastard. I said I would take it on the chin, that's what I said, yes. And I've tried the chin, and that's not too good. Let's see, where were we? Well, the NHS have been fantastic, of course. I don't know why any of them actually work for the NHS. They could earn so much more money in the private sector, you know. I think that's the future, private sector, yes. As you'll see, I'm getting special treatment. I'm not quite sure what this means. DNR. I think that makes you mean you're very important. And I've got a special new... obviously, forget the money. Forget the money. That's not important just now. You know. Anyway, we've got on a new treatment that my old chum in the US has given me from Trump, who says this is the best stuff ever. So we're giving this a try, and let's see how it goes. But keep up the good work, folks. That's what I say. And make sure on Thursday you're out clapping. You know, clapping. And oh, excuse me. Oh, a bit more. Oh, yes. Oh, this is the... and who said we couldn't get Dysons? This is my little Dyson here. It's working perfectly well. Well, I'll be back soon.
Oh well, let's hope that's not too serious. In other news, footage of Bill Gates giving a speech approximately 5 years ago, warning of a world pandemic. Here's what he had to say.
When I was a kid, the disaster we worried about most was a nuclear war. That's why we had a barrel like this down in our basement, filled with cans of food and water. When the nuclear attack came, we were supposed to go downstairs, hunker down, and eat out of that barrel. Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. We're not ready for the next epidemic. Let's look at Ebola. I'm sure all of you read about it in the newspaper. Lots of tough challenges. I followed it carefully through the case analysis tools we use to track polio eradication. And as you look at what went on, the problem wasn't that there was a system that didn't work well enough. The problem was that we didn't have a system at all. Now, in the movies, it's quite different. There's a group of handsome epidemiologists ready to go. They move in, they save the day, but that's just pure Hollywood. The failure to prepare could allow the next epidemic to be dramatically more devastating than Ebola. Let's look at the progression of Ebola over this year. About 10,000 people died, and nearly all were in the 3 West African countries. There's 3 reasons why it didn't spread more. The first is there was a lot of heroic work by the health workers. They found the people and they prevented more infections. The second is the nature of the virus. Ebola does not spread through the air. And by the time you're contagious, most people are so sick that they're bedridden. Third, it didn't get into many urban areas, and that was just luck. If it had gotten into a lot more urban areas, the case numbers would have been much larger. So next time, we might not be so lucky. You can have a virus where people feel well enough while they're infectious that they get on a plane or they go to a market. The source of the virus could be a natural epidemic like Ebola, or it could be bioterrorism. And so there are things that would literally make things 1,000 times worse. In fact, let's look at a model of a virus spread through the air like the Spanish flu back in 1918. So here's what would happen. It would spread throughout the world very, very quickly. And you can see there's over 30 million people die from that epidemic. Is we need strong health systems in poor countries. That's where mothers can give birth safely, kids can get all their vaccines, but also where we'll see the outbreak very early on. We need a medical reserve corps. Lots of people who've got the training and background who are ready to go with the expertise. And then we need to pair those medical people with the military, taking advantage of the military's ability to move fast, do logistics, and secure areas. We need to do simulations, germ games, not war games, so that we see where the holes are. The last time a germ game was done in the United States was back in 2001, and it didn't go so well. So far, the score is germs 1, people 0. Finally, we need lots of advanced R&D in areas of vaccines and diagnostics. There are some big breakthroughs, like adeno-associated virus, that could work very, very quickly. Now, I don't have an exact budget for what this would cost, but I'm quite sure it's very modest compared to the potential harm. The World Bank estimates that if we have a worldwide flu epidemic, global wealth will go down by over $3 trillion, and we'd have millions and millions of deaths. These investments offer significant benefits beyond just being ready for the epidemic. The primary health care, the R&D, those things would reduce global health equity and make the world more just as well as more safe. So I think this should absolutely be a priority. There's no need to panic. We don't have to hoard cans of spaghetti or go down into the basement. But we need to get going because time is not on our side. In fact, if there's one positive thing that can come out of the Ebola epidemic, it's that it can serve as an early warning, a wake-up call to get ready. If we start now, we can be ready for the next epidemic. Thank you.
The question is why the UK government wasn't ready and didn't have a plan for this pandemic. We now go over to a press conference with the Chief Medical Officer of Scotland and the First Minister of Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon.
Just want to tell everybody I was right out of order. I shouldn't have went to my second home and went down the caravan. I'm pure sorry. I just hope that everybody keeps by the rules, even though I bent them. As if I've not got a fucking nothing on my plate. She was tell again. As she did. Honest to God, I'm really embarrassed, Nicola. Next week we were planning on going to Girvan, but we've put that on hold. You can be rest assured. Oh, my head's bursting with the fucking lot of yous.
Very few people have ever heard from Nicola Sturgeon's twin sister. She speaks out now for the first time. Hello, Miss Sturgeon. How are you?
Oh, hello. Thanks for having me on the programme. You know, very few people give me time. I don't know why. Yes, my sister. What can I say about my twin sister? Oh, she's excellent as a politician, I'll give you that. But when we were at school, she was up to all sorts of nonsense, you know. You wouldn't believe it. It would make your eyes pop out. She was involved in smoking, selling things, illegal things, to our fellow students. She used to shoplift from Marks and Spencer's. which I suppose isn't too bad really, at least the food's good. And behind the bike shed, don't know how she found time to become a politician. Then when the police came round, after she'd been caught shoplifting, she'd have witnesses saying it was me. And of course we're twins. So I'm the one that got the criminal record. Yeah, she's a total bitch. Good at hiding it, I'll give her that, I'll give her that. Every time I try and sell my story to the Daily Record, she sends her little Scottish National minions, and all of a sudden the story disappears. I suppose I should be slightly grateful. At least she gives me some drink, of course. Aye, and it's a total untrue that I've got a drink problem. It's not true. I don't have a problem drinking. It's so hard. It's so hard being me. She's a total bitch.
Oh, for legal reasons, we've had to cut that interview short. Now, during these difficult times, it's important to know how to behave in public spaces such as supermarkets. So, in order to During these difficult times, it's important to know how to behave in public spaces such as supermarkets. So here's a useful guide of what not to do.
I'll do your veg anyway. Oh, sorry. I've caught this cold off Susan on smoked meats. Well, they're not smoked when they come, but she's on 60 a day.
Cauliflower. Look, how much longer is this going to take?
Well, do you want me to ask the supervise?
Yes, thank you.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Brinsley. It's Gemma here.
Hello, Gemma. Nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you, Mrs. Brinsley. How's your boils? So putting you on the cheese counter hasn't helped. Well, look, what I'm calling about is I have a lady here, and she bought me a packet of bacon with no price.
Is it streaky?
Well, it is a bit, but it should wipe off. And the sell-by date is August the 5th, 1984. No, hang on. 1964.
3 and 9.
3 and 9, thank you.
You mean that bacon's 20 years old?
I don't know, I was away when we did our things.
This place is a disgrace. Filthy, unhygienic, the food's not safe to eat, and the staff are all positively diseased.
£2.95, please.
On the other hand, it's very cheap and easy to park.
Well, that's just about it for this first edition of Not the Real News, and I hope you've enjoyed it so far. But before we go, I'd just like to dedicate this programme to a friend of mine, Pat Coxon, who went into a London hospital fighting pneumonia, had a minor heart operation, but then was infected in the hospital with the coronavirus and sadly passed away. Rest in peace, Pat. You will be missed, especially your infectious laughter. In the next edition, we have more from Boris, apparently he survives, and an exclusive with national treasure, Sir David Attenborough, who's in Scotland hunting for a rare animal, apparently. Also, don't miss the next edition because we have Hollywood legend Joan Collins. So that's definitely not to be missed, and plus much more. Don't forget to subscribe, press the button, press the notification button so that you don't miss any further episodes. And to help lift your spirits, I've managed to find something on YouTube for you. So until the next time, thank you for watching.